Hello and welcome to my Pokemon Journeys, episode 90, Dialga and Palkia, a great space-time clash review. So we're back with a second part of a winter special, where we again re-establish this is an alternate world with a meeting of Ash and his alternate counterpart. Alternate Ash is really upset on seeing Pikachu, as we see his Pikachu as an egg. He mentions his Pikachu forgot moves and then became a Pichu and then an egg, like alternate Dawn's Piplup did. So as I mentioned last week, I think that's a really scary concept, and it remains so this week. Alternate Ash asks him to go to the San Gem Down Pokemon Center with him. When we arrive at the center, Professor Rowan and a person is moving something into a truck. But then another Professor Rowan arrives. This is a real Rowan. The two imposters were the alternate Team Rocket. To be honest, I wouldn't have expected them to be into the disguise theatrics at all, but I'm happy to be proven wrong in that regard. I should probably mention that the gang were all reunited here and Go sends out Cinderace while Ash uses Pikachu. However, the two proceed to revert into Pichu and Reboot. Everyone's devised to return their Pokemon to their Pokeballs, so everything other than Pichu is put back in. Pichu rides in Ash's pocket though, and it's the cutest thing ever. Ash has to send out Dragonite and Gengar to help them fly over to Mount Coronet on Rowan's suggestion, as they may be the key to meeting Dialga and Palkia and being able to fix what's going on. However, this makes the two Pokemon revert evolution stages, and you know what's really weird to think about? This is Ash's first time seeing Gengar as a Haunter. So Go sends out Flygon and Aerodactyl. The alternate Ash and Dawn are ready to follow later as there's no space for everyone. I guess those two Pokemon weren't affected as much as they weren't used to fly here already. Team Rocket have arrived in the alternate world, and Jessie's response is pretty damn funny as her skin feels smooth and she's loving it. Guess time reversing has its perks, but Meowth is losing his ability to talk, and Wobbuffet devolves into a Wynot, which again, like Ash's Gengar, is kind of weird to think this is the first time Jessie's seeing her Pokemon in a previous evolved state. Spear Peeler has been absolutely mullered as the gang arrive, however the gate is wide open so they go through. Meanwhile, the alternate Go and Kaharu arrive in Sinnoh and meet alternate Dawn and Ash for the first time. Go actually contacts his alternate counterpart to enlist his aid. Alternate Kaharu essentially reverse-engineered Team Rocket's tech, which they used to prevent rewinding, which is why Alternate Go's Flygon and Aerodactyl are okay. I really like Alternate Go's personality. He sounds a lot more boisterous and confident, while Alternate Kaharu is incredibly smart. I feel like they probably never met their Ash due to effects of Dialga's rewinding never leading to the events of Journeys or whatever. But the main gang arrive in front of the trapped legendary Pokemon. Before they can do anything about it, Team Rocket stop them, and it's revealed they're actually in command of the Matori Matrix Grunts. So Dragonair, Haunter, Flygon, and Aerodactyl were sent out to fight, however, they're reversed to their previous stages and then eggs. Lucario and Inteleon are shown to be trapped, and also revert to their previous stages. So what Team Rocket's plan actually is to use the Red Chain to get the two legendary Pokemon to fight, open gates and rewind Pokemon across time and space. And when Dialga and Palkia are so worn out from battle with each other, they'll get both of them, correct space-time, and then re-educate all the eggs for Team Rocket's purposes. Honestly, I feel like I should have expected it, but it's actually a really solid plan. The alternate gang arrive and save the main gang, so Ash asks them to help break the Red Chain. Ash and alternate Ash are off on the Flygon while everyone else battles with Team Rocket. Ash's Pichu can't break the chain, and neither can a Flare Blitz from alternate Ash's Infinite. Hey, remember how last special we got a really nice animation cut against the Matori Matrix? Well, that's happening again, but we get a bunch of really fun character acting, lovely effects work, and nice inky smears. I think I probably like this battle against the Matrix a little bit less than the previous one, because the last one had a bit better pacing and flow of action. But this is a really great one too. I especially like the usage of impact frames here, especially from alternate Dawn's Baneri using Mega Punch. So the Kaharu's EVs use Bubble Beam with Copycat on Meowth and Wobbuffet, which weakens the armor. Dialga's power is becoming overwhelming anyway, and it reverts Team Rocket to teenagers and blasts them all off. The kids are being reverted to younger kids and their Pokemon to eggs. Everyone's at a loss. They don't have Pokemon to cut the Red Chain anymore. Ash has a plan to send their feelings to the legendaries to hope it will reach them, their desire to see their Pokemon again. Alternate Ash also suggests sending those feelings to Arceus. With gates opening to each world, the kids start praying, with everyone else joining in, which I thought was a really cool little moment. Sinnoh feels very heavily focused on its myths, and it has a lot of religious symbolism and undertones too, so praying to a literal god of a Pokemon world feels incredibly fitting. Even Team Rocket with an adorable Wynot and Meowth join in. An avatar of Arceus shows up above Dialga and Palkia, and the Red Chain vanishes. The feelings reach for legendaries and they start recalling their dispersed power, with a flow of time returning to normal. They're all sent to the alternate world, and each Pokemon and person is restored to what they should be. Everyone from the usual world is picked up and brought back to where they should be. The gang all approach Cynthia and the special ends. So before getting into my final thoughts, I just want to highlight something about the ending. They don't really do a goodbye or anything special with Dawn, which heavily implies to me that she'll be making another return. A little theory here, but she still has Quilava, which is likely going to be getting a new form in Legends Arceus. Arceus doesn't really make a physical appearance here, so I definitely think things are falling in place for a spring special or something which will feature yet another return for Dawn, and I'll be eagerly awaiting that. The more Dawn the better. Anyway, this was a marvellous follow-up from what last week set up. At a point, it truly did feel helpless to stop Dialga and Palkia. After all, without Pokemon, what is a human going to realistically do to stop them? Resorting to basically having to ask God to intervene felt like a true last case scenario. Kept up a lot of the fear aspect by having Ash finding out his Pokemon are in jeopardy, now as he didn't know that before. So actually seeing the Pokemon getting rewound was pretty crazy, especially with how fast it picked up. Gotta say though, it's pretty cool how Ash technically has Dratini, Dragonair, Ghastly and Haunter in his Pokedex now. Much like last week, I'm very okay with the alternate Team Rocket being hyper competent as they're really only here for a limited time, so putting them in command of a Matori Matrix was a fun twist, and gave us what was really the only real action scene of this whole special. Their overall plan, while very reliant on something as dangerous as a legendary Pokemon, actually felt pretty reasonable, and a scary way to bend Pokemon to Team Rocket's will. And on the topic, our main trio really didn't get a chance to do that much, but I enjoyed their inclusion anyway. Making the Alphaluce's defining trait, actually giving them a chance to see why not, it was very cute. And the fact that they joined in on the praying, which thwarts their alternate self's plan, shows what makes them different. What makes them good. It's wonderful. The alternate counterparts of the main group were also very fun. I think the overall highlight was Go, just because he's a lot more confident with himself and is essentially an action hero, but Tech Wiz Kaharu and the less confident Ash were great as well. And we don't really get an idea of what they do like we did with Sinnoh League contestant Dawn, but it didn't feel too necessary. Overall, they were a great inclusion, and I think we all had some fun interactions with their main counterparts. I will say Dawn didn't do a whole bunch here, but she wasn't really the main focus of the special either, and that's pretty alright I think. She can just seamlessly reintegrate with the main three of the series to join in on the story, which just works well. So I just really love this special as a whole. It was a fantastic way to show off the Sinnoh legendaries, brought back elements such as a red chain which plays a big part in Sinnoh's story, and while we don't see anything from Team Galactic, the Matori Matrix all have the aces of the Team Galactic admins, so it works out as a little reference in that way. I definitely think there's a lot of a story left to tell in Sinnoh. I hope we get to see Dawn again for Legends Arceus content, but for now I think both specials have been real great and have given us some wonderful content to rewatch and enjoy.